Because when I was crying my eyeballs out driving home from a bar session, bars usually makes me the happiest person, but for some reason it just unlocked a bunch of things and I started going down a spiral. Oh God. Okay. Hey, let's talk some dark thoughts. I never thought I would be someone who would admit that I have had one too many moments for my liking personally where I've literally thought the thoughts, why am I even here? What's the point? I don't have kids. I live in a whole different country, almost on a whole different continent. If I was to like peace out of the world, Clayton have like one less person to care for. And what am I doing? Like, who am I contributing to? Like, who wants to hear from me? What is the point of living this life where I'm totally bombarded with things taking over this and your life is going to be worthless because AI is going to take over everything? And I've had these dark thoughts and I don't like to admit them. And it makes me a little emotional just thinking about the times where I've had them. The first one was in 2021, actually. And I've had 2 episodes of that thought spiral in the last, I'm recording this in March, so within like literally a week ago, but within the 6 months of recording this, I've had 2 different episodes of these spirals where I have gone down the thought processes. No, have I contemplated my life, and I will preface this. If you are feeling suicidal, the disclaimer of go seek professional help, get on a helpline, do whatever you can, talk to whoever you need to talk to work yourself out of this. I hope that this episode and what I'm going to share with you today actually does help you see all these thoughts from a completely different perspective. So even though my mental health isn't at a stage where I require medication or I require like medical intervention by any means, I'm so grateful for that, or I'm not immune to not picking up vibrations like this. And I'm not immune to not having these moments where I'm thinking very low, considering I'm in a whole different environment. Things aren't working out the way that I planned, very high stressed, pretty much all the time. There's a question that I learned from Access Consciousness. And that question is, who does this belong to? That question has become almost a mini lifeline for me recently. And the awareness of everything is being broadcasted. Like thoughts travel faster than light. If you understand even the basics of quantum physics, you understand that a thought can pass to something. We can think someone's name and they can call us. And you might think, oh, Keisha, that's totally like woo-woo, blah, 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 blah. But they've literally done studies where they have understood the power of a thought and how it can be transmitted out. And we, our bodies, are these psychic little beings, and we can pick up on a whole bunch of shit, including when the world starts kind of thinking a thing, we can pick up on it and it can send us into our own little spiral because our brain, our subconscious is going to want to keep us safe. And it's going to want to validate what's coming in because it doesn't want to be wrong. It doesn't want to be incorrect, whether that's actually working you towards something that you would like or working you that in a different direction. It's going off what it perceives to be correct. So first of all, having, gratitude and love and acceptance for where you are and who you are in this very moment. And asking when those thoughts come up, like literally the thought, I don't have kids, why am I even existing? I reached out to my group and I was like, hey, having a really low moment, kind of this moment where I'm like, why the hell am I even here? Who am I even serving? What am I even doing? Blah, 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 blah. The question I knew was coming, what I didn't want to ask myself because I would trigger my brain to thinking that it was wrong, was that question. Who does this belong to? And when you ask that of yourself, and when you ask that of your emotions, when you ask that of your pains in your body, if you ask that about pretty much any thought, feeling, and emotion, you can quickly see where there's this separation. It isn't yours. If you feel like it is yours, you can still question, well, where is it coming from and who did I buy it from? And so asking this question, whose does this belong to, has kind of opened up a lot of people's worlds that I've had a conversation with where they're like, if I asked that question in that moment, I don't think I would have spiraled for so long. And what we can start to understand also is that if things are being broadcasted out there, right? Social media is just a constant bombardment of thoughts, feelings, and emotions that you may not be aware of are pulling you towards a certain thought process. So for instance, because I'm Canadian, I'm seeing a lot of what like Canada's doing, and they're just like constantly bombarding people with like taking away their rights, this and that. Constant doom and gloom. We have AI coming in every which way saying like, you're going to lose your job. You're going to lose your job. You're not doing this, and you're going to fall by the wayside. It chips away at us. It seriously does chip away at some part. And if you're not aware of where it's coming from, or that it's coming from somewhere other than you as a being, like your being isn't telling you that you are worthless and you're going to be out of a job. It's not telling you that. It's telling you that you are worth something. It's telling you that you are a gift to this planet. It's wanting to remind you that we feed into this quantum entanglement, and we feed the algorithm. Like there's a quantum algorithm that then feeds all the rest. And so you can be picking up on or having a moment that then activates a different thought and go down these like negative spirals. And then ask yourself when you can catch it, and just have like such grace and love and acceptance for where you are, and say, whose is this? And let the awareness come to you. Because when I was crying my eyeballs out driving home from a bar session, bars usually makes me the happiest person, but for some reason it just unlocked a bunch of things, and I started going down a spiral. And then I was starting to question, why am I even here? And if I was just to wipe myself off the face of the earth, then I would be a less of a burden to the world, to society, to whatever. And then I asked whose that was. It was very easy to see, wow, that's coming from a narrative that really wants people to feel less. It's coming from a narrative and from a perspective and from a source that honestly is just about diminishment and nothing about empowerment. And I'm going to send that back to whoever the fuck sent it to me. And I'm going to send it back to whoever the fuck sent it to that person and that person and that person and that person. And I'm going to send it right back to the broadcasting system, right back to the original source of that. And I'm going to be like, not mine. Thank you. Bye-bye. And I'm going to go back into my being, and I'm going to go back and connect with all the great things I love about this life. I'm going to connect back to what is the gift in everything. Things aren't unfolding the way that I envision, I feel like they should be doing. But what about everything is amazing? I'm still having conversations with people. I'm still able to facilitate. I'm still able to put a smile on someone's face. I'm still able to be here, feel the sun on my skin, eat amazing food, live in a gorgeous home. I'm still growing as a person. Cassie Summers said this in a class of hers. I'm paraphrasing. The gift of your life is a gift to this life. And I just kept thinking about that when I was also like, return to sender. Like, these thoughts do not belong to me. I am picking them up because it's being constantly shared. And I can interrupt the algorithm. I can interrupt this quantum entanglement. I can interrupt these thought patterns by no longer connecting to them and no longer buying them as mine. I'm not going to fight them. I'm not going to align or agree with them. I'm not going to resist and react to them. Redirect that back to its original owner and say thank you, but no thank you. I'm going to do something else. It can interrupt so that I do not have to pass it on to anybody else. And if you're sitting here being like, well, you pass it on to me because you're talking about it, we're just going to send all that energy back to the original owner, and you do not need to pick it up or try it on. All you have to do is recognize it when it comes into your world and return it to sender by asking, who does this belong to? You can be the interruption yourself as well, and then sink back into all the gifts you have, all the fun, all the pleasures, all the things you're excited for. Yes, they may not be here in this moment. They may seem so far away from you. We're here to experience and to create and to generate and to grow and to attract things into our world. We're in a lifetime where so much can happen so quickly, so beautifully, and can show up in your world as if by magic and in a completely different way than we thought. And so having a bit of surrender, a lot of surrender to the chaos of life that is happening, sinking into more of that gratitude and the gifts of this life, I hope help you when you have some lower moments or some thoughts and feelings that you're like, wow, that's just a little dark. I hope this conversation helps shift you out of that. On that note, I love you all. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.